Hello all, I'm Tot, this is my new video. I'd like to go over a lesson I learned when I was younger that stuck with me the rest of my days. It's from a very prolific creator who's in the news these days for a new series he made, which I'll not cover, and that creator is Genndy Tartakovsky. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he was the creator of Samurai Jack, Primal, and his magnum opus to me, my personal favorite of his creations, past or present, is Dexter's Laboratory. Now, watching a good one of his all of his works makes you think, makes you question some stuff. I've seen a good amount of Primal. I watched all Samurai Jack, and it always made me think about stuff and deeper meanings, deeper codes than other cartoons were willing to unveil to my eyes. And they're always thought provoking, even to the most mundane things or things I take for granted. Because these days, cartoons, ugh, I don't know. I feel for these kids. No wonder they want to go to YouTube and stuff because cartoons today are just not the same. And big reason I think that is because people think kids are stupid. I don't believe that for a second. I think kids are naive and easily distracted and innocent, which can be confused with stupid. And that's not a good way to think about your potential customers. And a good work of art can last a lifetime for somebody. The impression on their soul can be forever. It's done to me for several pieces of art, which I put in my second books to highlight it. And yeah, he taught me a very valuable lesson. He taught me a lot about science in those cartoons. Mind you, in a very cartoonish, over the top way, but a scientific method, the hypothesis, depending if you a good amount of that's present in those cartoons episodes. And I always kind of thought that Dee Dee and Dexter were instances of the id and the ego and the superego, on the surface level thinking to the deeper subconscious, and I thought that's how they follow each other because they're always at war, wanting to have fun, merriment, but also Dexter found his fun and enjoyment from his lab, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they made a movie of it. I remember Cartoon Network was making movies, their cartoons, a lot of the time. And Dexter's Laboratory got the treatment that I think it deserved. It's the movie called Dexter's Laboratory Ego Trip. It stars Dexter, old Dexter, young Dexter, and older Dexter. And yeah, it's the four of them trying to save the future from Mandark, the main antagonist of the series, his rival, mind you. And it had a very true message today than it was back then, because I see what's happening with AI and ChatGPT. And Genndy, he drew a pretty bleak picture if we don't get it under control. And I thank him for that. He didn't think I was stupid watching his shows. He didn't think he was making it for dumb kids. He was making it for people that both kids can watch and be amazed by, to watching as adults and being horrified. It's quite a balancing act, and I think he pulled it off perfectly. I'll admit that right now. It has Dexter inventing a machine. I know, original plot. But no, this is one where you take a little widget or mechanism you put in your ear, it makes a person super smart. That's it. That's the invention. It literally turns everybody into a genius like him. And Dexter was the forerunner of utopia, for lack of a better word. It was very fascinating to me. I thought Dexter was very selfish as a character, very to himself. very relentless in his pursuit of science above all, to the point where I think it hurt his relationships a lot. But anyway, and I remember how we can't have nice things as people, where near the middle of it, there's some Mandark meddling going on, and shenanigans ensue, where the machine can be, the frequency, the waves can be altered. And it goes from somebody being a genius to a complete moron. They literally go from utopia to the feudal age in the movie. It goes from beautiful architecture, art, food, clothes, to medieval wear, mud huts, or at least huts made, I hope made out of mud, hay, wheels that are made out of that are square instead of round. It's stuff like that we take for granted. And I thought to myself, that's really horrifying. That's really terrible. And it perfectly sums up with a quote I have here from Dune, from one of my favorite authors, Frank Herbert. Quote is, "Once men turned their thinking over to machines in the hope that this would set them free, but that only permitted other men with machines to enslave them." Which I think is a perfect quote for today. Because it's what I think happened. Like, the beauty of technology and the internet was turned against us. It was co-opted. And I see a lot of people get off social media for that reason because it's got annoying and boring. Everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody's trying to steal your day or your identity. It's like, I've seen them push back. For instance, Meta was trying to make Facebook have AI avatars or AI bots, implement them, and everybody said no, and I'm glad for that. But how many times do we have to fight this mess, you know? The big tech corporations coming into our systems, our communities, our social media. And that's why I advocate for being off social media a lot. I try to stay off it. I don't really care too much on social media. I don't really believe a lot of it. If I wish somebody a happy birthday or something, I mean it. If they have a nice day or they're feeling a little down, I try to add to that. But other than that, I don't care. I have to start advertising stuff, though. Gotta get something to go through with my money, and I will do that. That's my problem. And yeah, I don't want to give my brain to a machine, because the people controlling the machine want to control me, and I've seen that happen. They actually did a study where a lot of people don't have an internal monologue. They're literally non-playable characters, NPCs. And I don't know how I feel about that, because my brain doesn't shut up. It's always thinking. I think a big thing is critical thinking was not killed by social media, it was just beaten down. Because critical thinking is like a muscle, okay? And guess what every muscle needs? Resistance. And just agreeing with people, just telling people what they want to hear has led it to this, okay? All these crash outs, all these horrible posts, all these horrible things, because people weren't getting their way and think they were entitled to it. That's not how the world works. It's not. I'm trying to get a job at a burger joint. And I couldn't be happier for a job, honestly. I'm so happy if I get it. Because beggars can't be choosers. And yes, my my 2 degrees are terrible where I'm at. I'm not expecting great pay or time off, but just something. I think so. We're all at. We're just surviving for the last couple of years, and it's pretty sad. But that's life. I more or less chose this when I tried to stay in Oklahoma, which I personally would not recommend. All my friends had to leave. There's a reason for that. A reason I'm learning now. And yeah, I mean, I'm young still, decently young, so thank goodness. I want to have kids, hopefully, but I don't know if it's going to be in the West, though. That's where my thinking is going for a future, while still being available in the present, because I don't like people living in the past. Again, reminiscing, nostalgia, not challenging stuff. That's not challenging the mind. That's not challenging the brain. And again, all this sycophancy, people are the one that here has led to this. And I was right. and I'll never let this world forget. Unless my viewers want me to stop bringing it up, which is fine too. I completely understand. But as a whole, I implore you to use your mind, to expand it, to grow it, okay? Not everybody has to be a genius, but a little extra brain muscle never hurt nobody. They put the phone down, write something, think critically of things, and not just react to stuff. Because the mind wants pleasure and easy. The 1-2 punch poison of the mind. Because again, you need resistance. Water grows stagnant if not used, metal rusts if not kept clean, and the mind rots if not given ways to strengthen it. Which is me paraphrasing from Leonardo da Vinci. I can't remember the whole quote, but still, it's very good. So yeah, I'd like to thank Genndy Tartakovsky for showing me the way. And please, if I'm not saying his name right, please put in the comments. I'd love to learn it. I watched him for years, and I don't know if I will see this, but I personally like what he did. He didn't treat me like an idiot. He thought I could comprehend it. And I'll never forget that. I'll never, ever forget it. Thank you, Mr. Tartakovsky, and like, comment, subscribe.